You too. What's good, your boy? Everything water and water is everything my familia. I got for you guys a very cold, frozen stasis hunter build. I'm telling you, you're gonna be freezing everything with your melee, spamming your melee, using your stasis weapon. Everything gonna get frozen. You might as well frozen matter. You might as well. If y'all like this video, man, please leave a like and subscribe. I told you guys I'm going crazy. I'm dropping so many videos before final shape. I'm going crazy. Yeah, let's get ready for this video. Starting off with our exotic armor, we got the Radiant Dance Machine, aka RDM. Now, RDM to me is probably one of the more underrated exotics that a lot of people don't use too much. For example, a lot of people won't use this exotic for, I say, solar, because you automatically get your melee back pretty quick by like creating final blows and having and being radiant. But the RDM with stasis is just so good because now you have the ability to freeze everything, so you can freeze with your melee. Now going into the perk, right? The RDM activating your dodge ability while near nearby targets allows you to dodge additional times for a short period. Defeating targets extends the duration of the additional dodge. Now this is really good because pair this exotic up with your weapon, your cloak armor mod, my apologies, the Reaper. Now you not only you gonna be able to spam your melee and freeze targets at the same time doing damage because your stasis. You're gonna create final blows because every time you do your dodge and you create a final blow, you get an orb of power. So that is insane. So yeah, combining the RDM with that armor mod just makes this build so much better than it already is. But yeah, now we're gonna get into the exotic weapon. Now for the exotic weapon, I wanted to go with a stasis exotic. And the only good stasis exotic that's for like heavy, I'll say, is like the Winter Bite. And this is really cool because it is a glaive, so you do good melee damage to this. So it's okay in that aspects. Now, the perk of this is firing a large ball of energy, which is stasis, that locks onto nearby targets and freezes them. So basically, you can shoot this in the air. It will lock on, my apologies, to any target near you and freeze them before it hits them and does decent damage. It's not really that good against like bosses, I'm being honest. But against like ads, yellow bars, it does pretty good to like average heavy ammo, you know what I'm saying, damage. But other than that, there's nothing too crazy about this weapon. I've tried to test it out in certain scenarios. It's not as good, but like I said, I want to do like a different build that adds a glaive and a Winter Bite because they're, you know, and it's a stasis exotic too, so I wanted to add that into it. But this is not crazy. You could use any other exotic that you want to with this build, like maybe if you want to go with the Augur Spectre or something like that, that's still cool. But if you want to go heavy, Winter Bite is also a good heavy to use for stasis. But yeah, that's it for the exotics. Now we're going to get into the abilities, aspects, and fragments of this build. Let's get it. Alright, starting off with our super, we're going to use Silence and Squills. It's a really good super too. It has a really long duration and it freezes enemies instantly. For our ability, we're going to be using Gambler's Dodge. That goes into the RDM, the Radiant Dance Machine. And then obviously we're going to be using Withering Blade. For our grenade, obviously the only grenade you need to use for Hunter is the Dustfield Grenade. You get your grenade pretty good with some of the weapon mods. Some of the armor mods we have. So that's pretty cool. For our aspects, we're going to be using Touch of Winter, and we're going to be using Grim Harvest. You don't need to use Shatter Dive or Winter Shroud if you want to, dodging slowdowns nearby enemies, which is pretty good too. But Grim Harvest and Touch of Winter is the best for this specific build. Now going into our fragments. Now this is important too. Whisper of Conduction. Nearby stasis shards track to your position. This is really good because you're gonna have and be making a lot of stasis shards for this build, so you want to be able to not be like around it but still be able to get that traction, because sometimes if you don't have this fragment, you tend to not get your melee quick enough because you're not around the shards. But if you have this, the shards come to you, which is really good. Also, we're going to be using Whisper of Endurance. Slow that you apply to target lasts longer for those abilities that linger their duration will also increase. This is really good because this whole build is about freezing. Everything you do is going to be freezing the enemy, from throwing your melee, from your weapons, from your grenades. Everything about this build is about freezing, and doing damage while you're freezing them. So that's really good. Also, we're going to be using Whisper of Refraction. Defeating a slowed or frozen target grants you class ability energy. Again, this whole build is going to be freezing and slowing down targets, mostly freezing, because you're going to be spamming your melee infinitely as long as you create final blows. So this is going to be really good. So we're going to be getting our ability dodge really quick. Also, we're going to be using Whisper of Shard. Shattering a Stasis Crystal's temporary boost your grenade recharge rate. Shattering additional Stasis Crystals increase duration of this benefit. Again, this is really good because if you guys know, because of Touch of Winster, they're going to be what's it called? Stasis Crystal is going to be in the middle. You shoot that after freezing a couple enemies, your grenade just becomes starts to recharge by itself, while you're going to be able to recharge it with your doing damage with your melee too, for one of the armor mods we're going to talk about a little bit later, which is really good. So last but not least, Whisper of Chains. While you are near frozen targets or a friendly Stasis Crystal, you take reduced damage from targets. This is really good. Like I said, this whole build is just based off freezing enemies, making sure they are frozen, spamming your melee, which also freezes enemy that does damage, and now those enemies, and then your grenade that does small ticks and also freeze them pretty quick. So now you're going to be around a lot of frozen enemies. Now you're going to be taking less damage, so that's really good too. But that's it for the abilities, aspects, and the fragments. Now we're going to get into the stats and mods. Now for our artifacts, the only artifacts you need that are good for stasis are Pillar of Ice. Defeating a encased command spawns Stasis Crystal. This is really good. And we also got Hailed Storm. All these are really good. This is more with, shattering encased targets. Stasis Crystal deal increased damage. Again, we're going to be making a lot of Stasis Crystals, so that's good. But those are the only two artifact perks that we're going to be using that's going to be suited for stasis. Everything else just depends on what you're doing or what you got playing. Oh, we do got another Dragon's Bite. I forgot about this. Breaking a combatant's shield with a strand of stasis weapon, having chances to spin or freeze them. Again, we're going to be using a stasis weapon and a stasis heavy, so this is going to be really good. So we're going to be just freezing a whole bunch of enemies. But yeah, those are the only three. Everything else should just depend on what content you're doing. So yeah. Now going to our stats, always max out your resilience. I don't care. After that, it's mobility. I don't have the right pieces of gear where that gives me more mobility to where I can get that 100 and max it out, but 91 is the second best thing. And then we're going right after mobility, we're going right straight to discipline, then intellect, and everything goes after that, which is really cool and stuff like that. Now going to the mods, this is also quite important. Chest mods, it just depends. You always want to get damage resistance types in general, any resistance, damage resistance, or combatant resistance, whatever. But for your arms, you want to be using impact induction. Causing damage with your powered melee attacks reduce your grenade cooldown. Again, we're going to be spamming RDM and we're going to be spamming our melee. So every single time we get a kill or do a lot of damage with our melee, we're going to be getting our grenades charging. And we also got grenade kickstart, which is collecting overpowered gains you temporary armor charge, and that armor charge right there is consumed, and you gain grenade energy for each armor charge used. So that's really good too. And then honestly, over here you can really just put, if you want to, you can double up the stasis, surges, just buff your weapons or whatever you're using for your special. And then obviously for our cloak, we're going to be using Reaper, Powerful Attraction, and we got Bomber. And also, I almost forgot, we are also using weapon siphons. So this right here is going to be able to get me some final some orb of powers with your stasis weapon, and this is just your void, because I am using a void weapon. And then we got Dynamo. But yeah, that's it for this video, man. If y'all like this video, man, please leave a like and subscribe. I'm trying to get so much video guys for you guys. I can't even speak. I'm trying to get a lot of videos out for you guys while Final Shape is about to come out in June. So I got a lot more videos for y'all. But yeah, that's it for your boy. Everything water, what is everything, my familia. I'm out.